Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel Garden a Little. My name is Seema. If you're new here, I'm from Ohio, growing zone 6A. If you're new to gardening altogether, there are different growing zones, and if you want a more in-depth look on all of that, please don't hesitate to ask me about that. I am in a different gardening season of my life. I got my kid monitor here, just put her down for a nap, and it doesn't look like she's going to stay down much longer. But today I am sowing some seeds in my garden. Very excited. This is one of my favorite seasons, is sowing seeds. And even if you're busy, even if you are ripped apart in different directions, but this is your passion and you want to make an effort in growing food and beauty, you can. So these seeds are a couple of years old, so I'm going to sow them very liberally. I'm not going to be, preserving them, because for the most part, germination goes down the older your seeds are. And then my storage conditions weren't the best, just being realistic about everything. And so I am going to sow my peas. So again, I'm in Ohio. It is April, and it is a little too early to start sowing anything like tomatoes or peppers or anything like that, especially outside, because the frost will kill those plants. But I got some sugar snaps peas. So this is melting sugar, snow peas, and then sugar snap peas, and both of them are from Fairy Moore seeds, and I bought these, I want to say, like 3 years ago. So my hopes are not too high about these, but I will sow all of them. So I'm using up the seeds, and I'm also sowing the seeds. So let's do it. I got this arch going around from one bed to the next. Peas are perfect for climbing this, so I'm going to sow it on both sides of the trellis. I'm going to dig basically a trench, and they do like to be rooted pretty deeply, so I'm going to dig a trench. I have been weeding this bed. Most of the weeds are out, finally. It's taken forever to do that. But here we are. Here's a trench. Sugar snap peas. Like I said, these are pretty old. So I'm going to very liberally sprinkle them and cover them up. Oh, look at that. What resources. So I'm gonna pat them here, put this here. Super easy, guys. This cannot get any easier. Boom. Done. Just like that. I am actually going to sow these peas over on this side of the trellis. As you can tell, this bed is not weeded, very much so, you can tell. And I can get carried away very easily and start weeding this, and it's going to take me hours, but my baby girl is waking up, so no time for that. Time for planting and not weeding. Okay, I need to weed a little bit, so these plants actually grow. I don't know what this weed is, but this is one of the most annoying ones, like even more annoying than the dandelions, because the root system is massive and it just like grows so easily, whatever this is. The flowers are pretty, but like, come on, not in my vegetable growing space. Okay. Better trench. This is brand new pack, but again, this is super old, so I am opening up the whole thing and planting all of them. If you have a passion for gardening, busy life is not an excuse to not do it. Just as I was standing up, look at that. Another thing. So I'm just marking where I planted things by just putting blank blank things, so I know there are seeds here. But look at that find. Okay, next on the list is wildflowers. Got a couple of them. I got my lupines and I got zinnias. They're probably not going to germinate for the next couple of months. Lupines might germinate because they love the cold. And honestly, maybe it's already too late for them because they love being like frozen. But I think we have a few nights that we will freeze. I'm going to actually sow it still in this bed. And because I got my well-established lupine over here, and it's been actually doing pretty good for a couple of seasons, but it never flowered. So I don't know if this year's the year. This pile right here is chicken manure and pine shavings. And I need to spread it out a little bit. And look at that, guys. Oh my goodness. My guardian angel is just looking out for me today. So lupines are gonna go, the rest of the lupines are gonna go here. And again, this packet is a few years old, so I am sowing everything. But this is how they look like. I'm gonna sow them here, and I love growing beauty and food together. Get some compost on here. So that is my always advice, to grow some beauty with your food. Look at those roots. Like, look at that. That's kind of insane to me. I never knew that could happen, but there they are. All right, guys, last two seed packets are zinnias and basil. My herb garden is really close by. I actually just sowed dill over here in this corner, so let's sow some basil. Now, before I can actually sow, I do have to weed this area a little bit at least. So let's do that. Okay, so here in this bed, we got dill. Parsley usually comes up on its own over here. We'll see if it does this year. It kind of like sows itself every year. Basil is usually around this area here. Chives, dill. We got oregano right next to you guys, and then right behind you is thyme. Sow the seeds right over here, and they are tiny seeds. From burpees, these are a couple of years old. Again, super tiny seeds. So I'm just gonna sow them just like that, lightly, very lightly. Cover them, and then cover them with a few, just a small little layer of straw, just to protect for them being washed out. So that is that, and we're gonna put this here next to that there. All right, last for today, but definitely not the last of the season, are zinnias. Now, I am debating of where to put them. Zinnias, if they do well, they shade so much. They're just becoming like a forest, and beautiful, beautiful, colorful forest. So I want to sow them kind of on the end of my garden where the shade will not matter. One of the beds that is my chaos beds is this one right behind me, which I need to organize and weed. But right on that edge right there, I'm thinking that's where I'm going to plant all the zinnias that I have in here. This are mixed, multicolored, which is perfect. So I am going to weed that corner, and I am going to plant these zinnias. I am definitely of a rare breed where weeding does not bother me. It's actually like super peaceful for me. I love just spending time in the garden, cleaning it, making it pretty, organizing it. And then when it's, you know, in full-blown season and I can see the plants that I planted without being choked out by weeds, it's like a, I don't know, personal satisfaction of some sort. And I absolutely love that. Also, These wild onions are like getting a little too wild, getting a little too comfortable over here. I mean, you can eat them for sure. They definitely have a much more spicier taste to them compared to cultivated onions, but they're onions just the same. If you were curious, all of these weeds that I am pulling out will be going to my chickens. And if you can hear them in the background, it's because they are confused as to why I'm not giving them the weeds right at this second. So, we're all learning some life lessons today. Grub. Look at that. Have you ever seen those in your soil? That is chicken favorite snack. Okay. I am going to just make this soil a little messy so the seeds can grab onto something. Again, these are pretty old, so I am opening up the whole thing and spreading around the whole thing. Now I gotta be careful with this because the first season I sowed zinnias, they came up and they looked like anything generic. And so I think I weeded probably half of them. Which is my bad. Should have been paying attention a little bit. So I'm gonna leave this here. Just reminding myself that there's seeds over here. So now we have quite a bit of things sowed. We got flowers, zinnias. We got wildflowers. We got dill. We got radishes. We got lettuce, peas, dill, basil. Well, we weeded this. That's a baby monitor. I planted just an old onion in here. I don't know what it will do. But things are going well. What else do we have over here? Oh, look at that. I brought some more seeds out. More peas. Let's put the rest of the zinnias in here, actually. Zinnias and milkweed. Let's do that since I've already weeded and this is ready and prepped. Since the seeds kind of went over here, just dig up this area here. These are candy cane mix, as you can see. Very colorful. Again, a couple of years old, so all of them are gonna go in. Ah, I love this. I love me some chaos gardening. Let me put it between these wildflowers and that dill, right over here. Again, milkweed can be pretty big. And shade out, a few inches, especially if it does well. I don't know, it's plastic here. Oh, I have like 2 seeds in here. Okay, that was anticlimactic, but there we go. That's done. So let's just complete the pea collection. Let's put them right on this side. Why not, right? I think these seeds are probably 4 years old. So again, because these seeds are super old, I do not know how many of them will germinate, if any of them will germinate. So, boom. This, my friends, was a version of chaos gardening. If you ever heard of people saying, I'm going to chaos garden this year, this is what it means. Literally, you're doing things probably not well planned, but it makes sense in my mind. And I am in a different season of life where this is the only type of gardening I can do. So this is the only time I have allotted for myself because of different things that are happening in my life. But I enjoy this so much. So follow along. I mean, right now, not much is going on besides the weeds and some chives. But these peas are going to come up probably in next week, which is super exciting. The weather should be pretty delightful. And I'm excited to try the fruits of this very easy, short labor. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Tune in next time and go garden a little.